In this video, we are going to learn problems on syllogism or deduction. Deduction means deduction. They will give 2 or 3 statements. We should write only one statement, which is the conclusion statement. For example, all bachelors are intelligent. Shyam is a bachelor. What is the conclusion? Okay. Shyam is intelligent. Got it? Yes. Same way we can find for some questions, but it is difficult to find for all the other questions. If you want to solve this type of problems, there are 3 steps we have to follow. First step, we should identify the types of statements. There are 4 different types of statements: universal affirmative, universal negative, particular affirmative, and particular negative. And there are rules for deduction also. And then distribution law. We should know the distribution law. First, in any statement, there will be 2 terms, term 1 and term 2. For example, all bachelors are intelligent, bachelor, intelligent, 2 terms. Term 1 bachelor, term 2 intelligent. Okay. So here, we should know the distribution law also. So here, we will check the distribution law. First term, distributed, universal affirmative, always. First, what is universal affirmative? For example, all bachelors are intelligent. Then this is the universal affirmative. Why? The statement starts with R and it is a positive statement. So if the statement starts with R, it is universal affirmative. If the statement starts with R and if it is a negative statement, for example, all bachelors are not intelligent, then it is universal negative. Shyam is a bachelor. Is a bachelor. What is particular? Not everything. 0 and 100. Both are universal. In between anything between 0 and 100 is particular. Not all the boys, not all the students. Only Shyam. Shyam is a bachelor. Okay. So particular. This is particular affirmative because the statement is positive statement. There is no negative. If Shyam is not a bachelor, then it's particular negative. You got the difference? So particular affirmative statements start with some name or many or few or some. Some, few, many or some name. Then it is particular affirmative. Some, few, many. Then if there is not, then it is particular negative. Now the distribution law. First term distributed, second term not distributed. Then universal negative, both terms are distributed. Right? Particular affirmative, both terms are not distributed. And particular negative, first term not distributed and second term distributed. So now we know the types of statements. Yes, 4 types of statements: universal affirmative, universal negative, particular affirmative and particular negative. Then distribution law. If you know the distribution law, first term distributed, second term not distributed, universal negative, both terms are distributed, particular affirmative, both terms are not distributed, particular negative, first term not distributed, second term distributed. So we don't know the rules for deduction. What is the rule for deduction? Rule number 1. Middle term must be distributed at least once. Rule number 2. Only 3 distinct terms. Rule number 3. Middle term should not come in the conclusion. Middle term means the common term. Bachelor, bachelor, the common term is the middle term. And rule number 4. If one statement is particular, conclusion is also particular. Rule number 5. If one statement is negative, conclusion is also negative. Rule number 6. If both the statements are particular, no conclusion. Rule number 7. If both the statements are negative, no conclusion. Clear? So now we know the rules for deduction, we know the distribution law, and we know the types of statements. We can solve any problems on deduction or syllogism. Hey, now we know the distribution laws, types of statements, and the rules for deduction. Here, the 2 statements they are given. All instruments are harmoniums. All instruments are flutes. What is the type of statement? All instruments are harmoniums. It starts with R. So it is universal affirmative. First term distributed, second term not distributed. The next, all instruments are fruits, right? So again, universal affirmative, first statement is distributed, second term not distributed. So first step over. We have to check the types of statements, and then second step we have to apply the distribution laws. So 2 steps are over. Now we have to check the third step, which is rules for deduction. Rule number 1 says middle term must be distributed at least once. What is the middle term, common term, instrument? Is that distributed at least once, twice? So rule number 1 satisfied. Rule number 2, only 3 distinct terms. How many distinct terms here? Instruments, harmoniums and flutes. 3 distinct terms here. Okay. Rule number 2 also satisfied. And rule number 3 says middle term should not come in the conclusion, which means instruments should not come in the conclusion. Only harmoniums and flutes. Harmoniums and flutes. And always we should take the minimum. All comma all, minimum is all. All comma some, minimum is some. Okay. Okay. Rule number 4 says if one statement particular, conclusion is particular. Any statement is particular, no statement is particular. Both are universal. So all are harmoniums, are flutes. Yes. Rule number 5 says if one statement is negative, conclusion is negative. Any statement is negative here? No. So all harmoniums are flutes, not flutes. Okay. So rule number 5 satisfied. Rule number 6. If 2 statements particular, no conclusion. No, 2 statements are universal. Rule number 6 over. Rule number 7. If 2 statements are negative, no conclusion. No statement is negative. So this is the answer. All harmoniums are flutes. Hey, next. All windows are doors. What type of statement? Universal affirmative. First term distributed, second term not distributed. Then no door is a wall, universal negative. Both terms are distributed. Right. So now apply the rules. Middle term must be distributed at least once. Yes, door is distributed. Middle term should not come in the conclusion, so door should not come. Only 3 distinct terms, windows, doors and wall. Okay. We have to take always the minimum, all comma no, so no. And we can use only 2 terms, window and wall. So no window is a wall. No window is a wall. If one statement is negative, conclusion is negative, but both statements are not negative, right? If one statement is particular, no, both statements are universal. No is 0, all is 100. Okay, so both statements are universal. So no window is a wall. Okay, all actors are not dancers. Some dancers are not singers. So it is universal negative. Both terms are distributed. Some dancers are singers. So universal negative. Both terms are not distributed. Middle term must be distributed at least once. Dancers is distributed. So all comma sum, minimum is sum. So some actors are singers. Some actors are singers. Okay. And final one. Many apples are mangoes. Some mangoes are bananas. Many is, the statement starts with many, it is a particular statement, and if the statement starts with some particular statement. Rule number 6 says if 2 statements particular, no conclusion. No conclusion. Here, in case here also not is there, no conclusion, because 2 nots, 2 negative statements, no conclusion, 2 particular, no conclusion. That's it.